Welcome back everyone to another episode of Vegetarian Cooking with JJ. Today we're going to be traveling to Ukraine in my kitchen and I'm going to be making a very popular dish known as Varenyky. You may be familiar with it by another name, pierogies, coming from the Polish. This word has dominated throughout North America and the dish itself has dominated many a stomach in North America. It definitely is a crowd pleaser. I'm going to show you how you can easily veganize Varenyky. So without further ado, let's head over to the kitchen and get cooking. We'll set our stovetop to medium. And I'm going to bring a pot of water to a boil. We have our russet potatoes. I'm going to peel them. And I'll cut them into smaller pieces. Our water is boiling, so I'm going to add some salt. And I'll pop our potatoes in. And I'll give it a gentle stir. Now I'm slicing up our yellow onion and I'll cut it into smaller pieces. We'll heat our stovetop to medium, get our pan nice and hot. And I'm adding some earth balance onto our pan. This is a type with a little bit of olive oil, just for that little bit of flavor. We'll add our onions to the pan. We're going to want to caramelize the onions. And I've measured out a ½ cup's worth of Daiya cheddar style shreds. Our onions are softening up nicely, and now I'm just going to test our potatoes. Yes, they seem done. Our potatoes are done. I have drained them. And I'm just going to go over and turn our heat off on our pan here. Now it's time to combine our caramelized onion with our potatoes. I'm adding the Daiya cheddar style shreds, our earth balance with a touch of olive oil, and our almond milk. I'll add some salt and some pepper. Now I'm just going to give it a mash.
A little more non-dairy milk. And just get everything sticking together a bit more.
Now I'm just going to put the potato mixture in this bowl. I'll cover it and pop it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Now I'm going to sift 3 cups of flour. I'll add a teaspoon of salt. Here I have our Just Egg, our plant-based egg. 3 tablespoons is equivalent to 1 egg. So I'll just measure out 3 tablespoons into the small jar. And I have 1 cup of warm water here. And I'm going to measure out 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. I'm just mixing the flour and the salt so it's evenly incorporated, and I'm making a well in the center. I'll pour in our Just Egg, our oil, and our warm water. I'll mix it into our flour. And I'll switch to kneading it by hand. It's a little bit sticky, so I'm adding a bit more flour. I'm just covering it with some plastic wrap, an additional napkin, and we'll let it sit for 30 minutes. I'll set our stovetop to medium and bring a pot of water to a boil while I roll out our dough. Now that our dough is rolled out, I'm going to make some circles using a glass. So we have our circles here, we're going to fill them. You don't want to overfill them, so you want to be careful. It may be a trial and error situation to get the perfect amount of filling. The origin of Varenyky or pierogies is debated. However, it is believed that they were inspired by dumplings from China, and that it was Marco Polo along his journey on the Silk Road who shared them around. They have been enjoyed in Ukraine for 800 or 900 years. Way back, Ukrainians associated Varenyky with a young moon because of its shape, and they were used as special talismans. They were also used as a sacrificial ritual by water springs. They were left in fields, and it was said that this would yield a bountiful harvest. On the second day after a bride got married, she would consume Varenyky, and it is said that this would bring about good health. Varenyky or pierogi have their own patron saint, Saint Hyacinth. And in Poland, they have a funny expression, Saint Hyacinth and his pierogi, which kind of means, holy smokes! We got a pan hot here, so I'm adding our earth balance, the type with a little bit of olive oil in it for the extra flavor. And we're adding our onion. And over here, our water is boiling. Add some salt and some oil. And carefully drop in our Varenyky, aka pierogies. We'll gently stir them up in the pot, and our onion is coming along nicely. And I'm going to set aside our onions, and I'll scoop out our Varenyky, aka pierogies.
Hello!
She's going to enjoy some pierogies /
Spontaneously, our friend Sabrina came down and we enjoyed some Varenyky on our 12th floor patio. I didn't have time to fuss over visual perfection when our friend came, so I decided to go and do round 2 with the leftover dough and filling. Gotta get those food shots in. For this one, I used a souffle dish, which was a little bit wider in diameter than the glass that I used in the first round. I also decided to make them a little bit thicker, so they're going to be a little bit heartier.
You want to pinch the ends first. You want the stuffing to remain in, of course.
I noticed that the dough was quite stretchy, so I was able to stuff them more. Plus, I made them thicker and a little bit bigger. I was able to take a bolder attempt with the filling this time around. If you don't normally make pierogies, you may not get it absolutely perfect on the first try, but don't worry, you'll get used to it as you go along in the second and third round. I'll set our stovetop to medium, bring a pot of water to a boil for round 2, and I'm going to use Beyond sausage as part of a meal. Slice up some onions, get some oil in our hot pan, add our onions and our Beyond sausage. We'll chop up some chives for the finishing touch. Our water is boiling. I added the salt. I'm adding the Varenyky, or oil. Give it a gentle stir. The oil helps to keep them separated. And we'll just scoop out our Varenyky. And we're ready to plate them nicely. We'll add our Beyond sausage to the plate, our caramelized onions on top of our Varenyky, our chopped chives, and I'm adding some Dijon mustard to our Beyond sausage. And we have our Earth's Own vegan sour cream on the side.
It's that time again. I get to try it. Our Varenyky, aka pierogies. Very nice, a simple and delicious dish. May take a little bit of time to get those pierogies together, but if you want to do a big batch, you can also freeze some of them, so assemble them, put them on a baking sheet, parchment lined baking sheet, pop them in the freezer, and once they're fully frozen, you can transfer them into a freezer bag. And then you can cook them as you wish. Of course, you're always welcome to fry them after you boil them. It's up to you, personal preference. When Sabrina was here, I made them in a rush, so those were the less glamorous ones, the less picture-worthy ones, but she still enjoyed herself. I'm glad that she popped by. She was in the area or coming down. Shimmy told me, so I'm in a hurry. I was in a hurry to get everything together, but we had a good time enjoying some Varenyky, aka pierogies. So if you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel. There's going to be a new video every Monday. And as always, you're welcome to drop me a line down below. Or if you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer any of your questions. Bon appetit!